Holden Health. Expertise, technology, experience.
Hello, David Holden here, Biohacking Healing Coach. I want to talk a bit about the Big Five. I keep mentioning this every year to patients. As soon as it starts getting cold, usually in May, getting lots of cancellations from people who are getting sick with colds and flus, which is, what happens if you don't take the Big Five. So let's repeat it and go through it again. The number one mineral that everyone needs to activate their immune system, over 60 different biochemical pathways are dependent upon zinc. And you need to understand the RDAs, which is the recommended daily allowances, are deliberately low. We call them in the naturopathic profession the ridiculous daily allowances. They're the real RDAs. So you can almost double what's recommended and sometimes go much higher, and then you'll get a therapeutic effect. With zinc, men need more than women. I recommend all men have a 50 milligram dose of zinc, particularly 2 brands that you can readily get. You don't need expensive brands for zinc. Zinc's well absorbed if you have it with food, bite the tablets or have the drops. If you are low in zinc, I will recommend you take the Clinician's brand liquid zinc, available from the Chemist Warehouse or good pharmacies. It's a pharmacy owned line. And you need, if you're new to zinc and you haven't had any, and I've told you you're weak in a consult or your immune system is down and you're getting colds and flus, I would recommend you do a couple of weeks on 10 drops a day. Have it in the morning, put it in some kind of diluted juice or coconut milk or almond milk, because it does have a taste. In fact, when it starts to taste, it means your zinc levels are coming up. So I would do that for a full bottle. 10 drops for a child, halve it, 5 drops for around a 40 kilo child, and a much younger toddler, infant, like under 20 kilos, probably give them 3 drops a day. That'll be enough. Now, once you've done the first bottle of liquid, your levels will come up, then you start to absorb zinc really well. And this is what most people don't understand. When your zinc is low, it's harder for your body to absorb it than when it's high. So nature's got it a bit back to front. That's just the way it happens. And so with zinc particularly, if you haven't had any for a while and you're low, go the liquid form because it is better absorbed. Then I recommend you change after the first bottle of liquid. Some people prefer to stay on the liquid, they find it convenient. Others prefer a tablet. I would go for the Sanderson's Triple Zinc. Is one of the better ones available. And again, if you look at Chemist Warehouse specials, you'll get it cheaper or larger sizes for the same price. So that deals with zinc. So that's the number one of the Big Five. The next one is vitamin D3 K2. Now, I've prattled on about this for winter after winter after winter, but what is interesting to have happened since I last spoke about this last year, there's been a really big study done on vitamin D3. And 15,000 people were tested. 5,000 of them were Amish. This is in the US, obviously, Midwest. And this Amish database, they don't take any supplements, they don't take any drugs, they don't take any vaccines. They only eat organic foods and herbs. And so they were a good control group. And then they got 10,000 people who they asked to take 5,000 IU of vitamin D3, always mixed with K2, which I'll come back to, with their evening meal for 1 year. And then they collated the results, and they found, to their surprise, even using Amish as a control that haven't been vaccinated, and there's some issues with some vaccines, so they were a good control group, and they found that the group that took the 5,000 IU vitamin D3 K2 at dinner for 1 year had 50% less hospitalizations than the control group, the Amish. Okay, so that's a pretty startling discovery. Now, we naturopaths and herbalists and many holistic therapists that use nutrition, are trained in nutrition, doctors aren't, They know, and have known for some time, that vitamin D3, K2 has to be had in combination, and it's as powerful as vitamin C, particularly lipospheric C, if it's taken same time to elevate immunity. So D3 and K2. The K2, if you have it with the D3 at the same time, prevents kidney stones. Otherwise, it can dysregulate your bone metabolism. And K2 drives the D3 into the bones where you want it, particularly menopausal women. And also athletes and people who want to remain active well into their later years. You want to have strong bones. And by having activity, you get strong bones as long as you've got enough D3, K2 on board. The one I recommend is the MedLab brand, which is a practitioner prescribed brand of vitamin D3, K2. It was out of stock for quite a while last year, but through popular demand, it's come back and it's now available. It has to be scripted. We get it from Pack Health. If you want a script for MedLab D3K2, it doesn't cost you anything. You just need to contact me by text, and you've got all my contact details on the website, holdenhealthcare.com, and I can do that for you, no problem. It only takes me a few minutes to do that script. And then you can get access to what I think is the top and the nicest tasting vitamin D3K2 liquid. There's another one that I was using as a backup when MedLab was out of stock, and that's the Bioceuticals D3K2, which is better value for money. It's a bigger container, but it's got a very bland taste. It's a bit milky and a bit insipid, really, I think, for me personally. Some people might like it. I prefer the other one. That's always better. So what I would suggest is you modify those. Now, in New Zealand, according to MedSafe's Eternal Wisdom, you can only get 1,000 IU maximum dose per tablet or capsule, which is way too low. We know from this wellness study, and I recommend now all my patients take 5,000 IU vitamin D3, K2 with dinner in summer. And in winter, they double it. So by now, May, until about October, take 10,000 IU a day, D3K2, 5,000 with breakfast, 5,000 with dinner. And of course, if you can get some sunlight outside, do so. Now, what all the studies have shown, despite everyone thinking, oh yeah, I get enough sun, and particularly in New Zealand where the UV is quite intense, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people have skin cancer, so they don't want to go out in the sun, even though sunbathing at the right time of the day, protecting those areas that are damaged by previous skin cancers, the sunlight is useful for you. You just don't want it at the fiercest time of the day in summer. And that's pretty obvious, and that information's well out there. But taking extra vitamin D is very sensible. Medically, doctors are taught at medical school pre-2010 that vitamin D3 was only good for the bones. Now we know that it's a vital nutrient for immune system stabilization. So you need to be taking D3K2 every day in much higher doses than what your doctor would recommend, and there is scientific evidence to prove that is the case. Now, unless your GP or doctor has done the ACNM course, which is the Australian College of Nutritional and Environmental Medicine, which is a very intense block course, they won't know about nutrition, they won't know about D3 and its other benefits other than what they're taught at medical school, which is a very rendered, diluted down version of the training that I got. So naturopaths generally get 2 years of training in nutrition, and if they don't get a minimum 70% pass work in their finals, they have to reset the whole course, whereas doctors with 6 years of medical school training get 3 lectures on nutrition, the latest information I got a couple of years ago, and if they miss those lectures, they don't have to repeat them. So unless the doctor has an interest in nutrition and has done an extra nutrition course along with their medical training, they're not the best person to ask about supplements because they just don't know. Now, the next nutrient is vitamin C, which I've alluded to. It needs to be lipospheric. Last week, I saw 3 patients that were still taking old-fashioned vitamin C powder or tablets. Now, they're fine for children. You can get these ones here, which I use. You can get those from the Chemist Warehouse quite cheaply. Sanderson's Estraplex. There's 600 milligrams of vitamin C per chewable tablet. And they're great for children as a nice snack when they come home from school, just chew on a vitamin C. they need it, and particularly as soon as they come away from school, they've probably got bugs in them, on them, around them because of other kids. So give them a vitamin C, give them a few drops of vitamin D3K2. Now, lipospheric is a method of processing the vitamin C so it becomes more fat soluble. Normal vitamin C or ascorbic acid is water soluble and it comes out in your pee. Now, lipospheric C, 1 teaspoon of the Clinician's brand Lipo C and quercetin is the one I recommend. It's available from the Chemist Warehouse. You can often get it on special. I would recommend a child have 1 teaspoon in the morning and 1 teaspoon when they come home from school during the colder months, and half of that dose in summer, but still give them some. Adults would start at 3 teaspoons a day. 1 in the morning, 1 in the middle of the day, 1 at night. You could do it with food if you want. It makes no difference whether you have lipospheric C with or without food. It's going to absorb well. It absorbs at least 10 times better than a tableted or powdered form of vitamin C. So just those are the scientific facts that you need to be aware of. And once you understand that Lipo C is the top shelf product that you need to be going for, unless you want to give lollies out to kids that are an alternative to sugary candies, these tablets here, the Sanderson's ones, they taste quite nice. They've got a wide range of flavors. So, you can often get those for $20 a tub when they're on special. So it's nice to have in the house. So that gives you the gen on that. Now, number 5 is not really a supplement, but it's so important, and I keep prattling on about this to everyone. Get off ultra-processed foods that contain lots of sugar. Sugar has been proven scientifically to deplete lots of B vitamins, magnesium, and a stack of minerals that are needed for bone health, immune system strength, and resilience to a wide range of diseases. You don't want to become deficient in minerals or you will become unwell. As I say to my cancer patients, you don't kill cancer if you're deficient in minerals and your body's very acidic and stressed, okay? You've got to be in a relaxed, calm state and give yourself minerals, which is why I use the mineral products that I use. So that gives you a breakdown on the big 5. Avoid ultra-processed foods. Avoid all the things that you know are in a packet that have got lots of chemicals in them. You can't even pronounce some of the names. Axe them. Start going cleaner on your diet. That's the best thing you can do to improve your immune system. Okay, so I'll leave it at that, and I'll be talking more about this in the future. Thanks for your time.